The scent of blood and seal meat still hung in the frozen air, as the polar bears finally tasted relief after weeks of starvation. But peace in the Arctic never lasted long. From the cliffs above, the foxes watched. Led by Mago, their white pelts blending with the snow, they moved like a silent storm. They followed the trail of fish, blood, and unfamiliar fur. They knew Quincy had returned, and that he had brought an army. The first howl shattered the silence. The second unleashed chaos. Quincy barely rose before the first fox lunged. The feast was forgotten. The polar bears, still weak and wounded, were forced to rise again. Not for food, but for war. The ice erupted into a frenzy of fur and fang. The foxes outnumbered the bears nearly 2-1, but they underestimated the fire inside the starving sleuth. These were not just hunters, they were survivors. And survivors fight hardest when they have nothing left to lose. In the chaos, Quincy was driven toward the icy cliffs by a calculated trap. Waiting in the shadows stood Mago, flanked by 4 Arctic wolves, their eyes sharp with hunger. "You should have stayed lost, Grizzly," Mago hissed. The wolves pounced. Teeth tore into Quincy's hide. He roared, thrashing, blood staining the snow. The cliff edge loomed beneath him. Quincy made his choice. With a final, guttural growl, he hurled himself, and the wolves, off the ledge, into the freezing abyss. The impact was brutal. The cold, blinding. But Quincy had learned from the sea. He twisted, kicked, and dragged the wolves deeper until the cold finished what he could not. One by one, they released their grip. Gasping, bleeding, Quincy surfaced and clawed his way back to shore. By the time he returned, the battle was over. The sleuth had triumphed. The foxes, once proud rulers of the Ice City, were now cornered in a frozen cave, defeated and disarmed. The battlefield lay scattered with broken ice and broken pride. Izzy rushed to Quincy's side, pressing snow to his wounds, her touch fierce and trembling. "You're not allowed to die," she whispered. Quincy managed a weak smile. "Not today." Together, they skinned the fallen foxes, not out of cruelty, but survival. From their hides, Quincy fashioned a coat of warmth and warning, a cloak fit for a king. The sleuth gathered around a fire, laughter echoing across the ice for the first time in ages. But they weren't alone. From the distant ridges, the other animals emerged. Rabbits, reindeer, owls, Arctic hares, creatures who had hidden during the battle, unsure who would win. Now they stepped forward, cautious but hopeful. "The seals and penguins have fled," said a trembling hare, "but we remain, and we choose peace." They bowed, not in fear, but in respect. "You are the new kings of Ice City." Quincy stood, his new cloak billowing in the wind. He looked at the animals, so many species, so many stories, and remembered a time when his own forest had lived in harmony. He raised his voice not as a conqueror, but as a dreamer. "There is plenty of fish in the sea," he said. "We don't need to rule through fear. We can survive together, if we share, if we protect, if we change." Silence. Then, slowly, the animals nodded. "We will fish for you," said a walrus. "We will trade," said a rabbit. "We will build something better," said a reindeer. And so, the Ice City was reborn, not as a kingdom of predators, but as a sanctuary of unity. A place where survival didn't mean domination, it meant coexistence.